All right, hey guys. This video is specifically for folks who are thinking about getting into strength training or thinking about trying athletics specifically and have questions about what exactly that's going to look like when they jump in on the classes, okay? So now we portray ourselves as a very serious strength training gym. Serious from the standpoint that we take our training seriously, not that we are serious people, because most of the time that's not true who know us. But in any case, I wanted to talk a little bit about our level 1 programming and what our onboarding process looks like for somebody that's new to strength training or new to athletics. Okay, so you're thinking about trying us out, right? What should that look like, or what does that look like? There are 3 priorities that we have in our level 1 programming. That's just our programming that's designed to get people up to speed in the classes and integrate it into the program. All right. We are not advocates for people coming from a training background of basically nothing, who have never strength trained before, and simply throwing them into the workouts, okay? That tends to lead to not such great things from an adaptation standpoint. We tend to see people get injured over time if we're not careful about how we integrate them into the workouts. We tend to see bad habits developed without really developing a nice foundation first. So there's a couple of things that we do or that we focus on to get people integrated into the classes. Okay. The first thing first, technique. Technique is incredibly important in strength training, okay? And not just because we want to keep you free from injury, that's obvious, but more importantly, we want you to be able to get the maximum gains from the movements that we're doing, okay? So we teach our athletes to move with intent. You do the exact same movements that what everybody else is doing, but we take the weight and we probably reduce it, or we take the movement and we break it down into smaller pieces so that anybody, regardless of their training history, can come in and learn the movement in a way that helps set them up for success, all right? So we try and do that to make sure that new athletes can feel confident about how they're moving, and that we can feel confident as a gym in their ability to progress in that movement moving forward. Okay, so we really dial in on technique in all facets of the program. So when you're coming in, you are integrated into that right away, into that level 1 programming. We really dial in technique to make sure that you move well, move safely, and move in a way that's going to help you see the maximum benefit moving forward. Number 2, we focus on volume adaptation. That is a fancy, jargony way of saying we want to slowly ramp you up to be at the level of our other athletes who have been with us for a while in terms of how much work you are doing, okay? We put a lot of content out there about the need to manage volume to make sure that we are progressing, but we're not exceeding our ability to recover. So a lot of other facilities, when you jump into the programming, there may not necessarily be an attempt to ensure that the amount of work that they're asking you to do, be that the number of sessions that you're coming in on a weekly basis or the amount of work that you're doing on a daily basis when you come into the gym, is scaled in a way that makes sure that you see progress, but you're not just destroyed on a week in and week out basis, okay? So all of us have probably experienced, we come into the gym on our first time and we work out for the first time, and then we walk out of the gym and when it takes us a week to walk again, that is entirely inappropriate, all right? That should never be the case. That's not just a necessary facet of training. Yes, you should be sore. You should feel like you did something, especially if you haven't strength trained prior to coming to the gym, but it should not take you a week to recover from a workout, okay? At most, you should be sore for a day or 2, okay? But if we're doing our job and we are manipulating the amount of work that you're doing to make sure that it's safe, to make sure that it's something that you can recover from, you should be able to come into the gym 3 times a week. There's no reason that you shouldn't be able to do that, even if you're just getting off the couch and starting strength training for the first time. All right, so we make sure that we are manipulating the amount of work that we're doing, okay, to make sure that you can slowly get to the point where you can handle the full program. All right, so that's another facet of our L1 programming, to make sure that you can still be involved in the classes, you're still being integrated into the group. There's no distinction between the exercises you're doing and what other people are doing. It's all together still, but we just make sure that we do it in an intelligent way that makes sure that you progress and you still recover from all the work that we're asking you to do. Okay. The third piece is community integration, okay? We've been parts of other gyms where other gyms will take their new athletes and give them an entirely separate program. They are off in the corner doing their own thing. You're supposed to be doing that, and then you take a month doing that, and then you are allowed to come into the classes. So now, while that may be a very great way to give those people some additional attention, it may be a good way to ensure that you're hitting on the second point where you're manipulating volume. But overall, what we don't want to do is not allow those people to be incorporated into the community right away. All right, we're very fond of our community here at Athletics. We want you to be part of that from the get-go. So we create our program so that you can be integrated into the regular classes right away. You simply follow a different derivative of the programming that everybody else does to make sure that we hit on these first 2 points, making sure that we're being safe in our technique, and making sure that we are only pushing so much work as necessary to make sure that you improve and are slowly adapting to the amount of work that everybody else is doing. Okay? So those are the 3 things. All right, technique, volume adaptation, community integration. Okay, those are our 3 most important facets of our L1 program. So hopefully that kind of sheds some light on how that will look. But in general, you're going to come in, you're going to be part of the classes, you're going to do the same things that everyone else is doing, but we're just going to do them in an intelligent fashion that makes sure that anybody, regardless of whether they've ever done strength training before, can be successful here. All right, thanks for tuning in, guys.